Hey everybody, it's David Mason, CEO of Universal Title, and we're here today to talk about a really important topic, which is fraud in real estate transactions. And I've asked Bhavin Patel, the director of our title operations team, to join us today because he's really front lines with Universal Title, seeing this on a daily basis, and he helps put together our policies and our processes to make sure that we are doing everything we can to prevent this from occurring in your real estate transaction. So I wanted to take a moment and talk with Bhavin about what we're seeing in the marketplace and what Universal Title is doing to help safeguard the real estate transaction. So Bhavin, welcome. And I guess first question is, what types of transactions are these criminals targeting?
Yeah, so it's mostly going to be unencumbered vacant land. So that's property without a mortgage and non-owner occupied property, abandoned property, or just a second home where the actual owners are not residing at the property.
And is that why they're targeting these properties?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's an identifiable target, and it's something that someone can impersonate the seller, the actual owner of the property, and they would have no idea that the property is even being listed.
Wow, so this is a real problem, right? I mean, this is something that we are actually seeing on a fairly regular basis.
Very much so, yeah. Over the last few months, I would say we've had at least 5 or 10 attempted instances of fraud.
Wow. So what do we do at Universal Title to help prevent this?
So we start out, very first thing we do is we send a letter to the owner's mailing address of record, just to inform them that there's a transaction in progress, and that if they haven't initiated the transaction, that they should contact us.
Okay. What other steps are we taking as well?
So the next step is to verify the seller's identity. We do that a couple of ways: collect 2 forms of ID, and then put them through a identity verification process.
So tell me a little bit more about this identity verification process. So, I mean, was that something available or being done in our industry even a few years ago?
I would say not even probably 6 months ago. It's pretty recent development, and we have technology now to be able to accurately identify or verify a seller's identity.
Wow. Yeah, and so technology in the title industry and the real estate settlement is something that Universal Title really believes in. It's something that we've invested heavily in, and this is one of the reasons why. So Bhavin, give us a couple of specific examples of criminals and fraud attempts that we have actually stopped.
Sure. So in one instance, like I said, we send a letter in every transaction we identify as high risk. And we got a response to one of those letters from the actual owner of the property, just informing us that they were not listing the property for sale. They had no intention of selling the property. And with that information, we were able to go back to the listing agent and inform them that they were not actually dealing with the true owner of the property.
Wow. And like that was vacant land?
That was vacant land.
And it was listed for how much?
That was a property that was listed for $50,000 for a property that was valued at $900,000. So big red flag there.
Yeah, big red flag. But I mean, that's a potentially $900,000 loss.
Exactly right.
Wow. One more reason title insurance is important, right?
Very much.
Tell us about another example.
Sure. So in another case, we had just some red flags that came up in the title search. So based on those red flags, we did some digging. We talked to the title company that handled the prior transaction. And with that information, we were fairly certain we were not dealing with the true owner of the property. And we put them through the same verification process, which they did not pass. And in that instance, through the direction of the local sheriff's department, actually one of those fraudsters was arrested.
All right, so one last question, Bhavin. What can the average homeowner, whether buyer or seller, and real estate agent do to help prevent this from occurring?
Sure. So a couple of easy steps. One, you can go on Zillow, Redfin, all of the MLS websites, and actually favorite your property. And what that will do is, if that property is ever listed, you will get an email notification showing that it's actually gone live. And obviously, if that wasn't at your direction, then that's the first sign that there's an attempted fraud in progress.
Yeah, and what about real estate agents? As they're interacting with specifically the sellers, is there any red flags that they should look out for?
Absolutely. So most commonly, these fraudsters won't be willing to communicate by phone. They won't take Zoom calls, video chats. It'll just be strictly email communication. Typically, they'll have some sort of emergency as to why they need to sell the property or why they're unavailable to actually speak to you on the phone. So these are all common red flags that you should be on the lookout for. And if you do come across something like this, then just ask questions. Asking questions is the best way to prevent this type of fraud from even beginning.
Wow, so obviously really important topic here. Fraud's such a prevalent issue, such an important issue. We're all in this together, guys. We're always available to answer your questions. We're doing additional trainings. If you have any questions, please reach out directly or put questions in the comments below, and we will continue to work on this with you.